Hey guys, and welcome to another video, and today we have a tutorial. And for all you guys who don't know how to draw chibis, this is a perfect chance for you guys to check out some of the chibi formats and types. Of course, there's a lot of different chibi types and a lot of different chibi looks, but today we will be focusing on the standard chibi, an elongated chibi, and a bit of a more muscular chibi character, because there's always sometimes when you have character that's a little bit more like buff or chubby and you need to make it a bit larger but yet in chibi format. So to start off you need to have, and this grid line I drew out is going to help me create this chibi characters because it has 3 spaces of equal height. So these 3 spaces are just the same height and they will be helping me. You can also draw out something similar, but there is no need. If you're a beginner, just follow my steps. So the first step for drawing a chibi is to draw out a circle and then have space under this circle that's equal in height as the circle itself. In this area we will be drawing out the body for the chibi. We will be using the 2/3 of this height under the circle to draw out something like a bean bag or something like a little pear shape for the body. Then under that we will be adding stubby little legs that also have some sort of a curvy shape. Don't go into detail yet. Don't try to draw knuckles or neck or shoulders or elbows, because all those pointy things do not have a place in a standard chibi. Maybe in an elongated chibi somewhere, but in the standard chibi, no. You just need to make all of the chibi's limbs as curvy as possible. And for the length of the arms and legs for the chibi, you can use 1/3 of this height here. So the 2/3 are for the body and the 1/3 is for the length of the legs as well as for the arms. So you just need to draw out stubby little arms that are approximately 2/3 of the height of your circle, or this area that's the same size as the circle. So if you ever watched Powerpuff Girls, I guess you know what this reminds you of. It's a standard chibi with no fingers, no toes, nothing special regarding the little details and shapes. The details will come later. If you want to add some more shape to the legs, I suggest adding tiny triangled feet which are pointing to the sides. Nothing complicated, nothing special. Then we will be drawing out tiny fingers if you want. You just have to draw little U-shaped lines and create around 5 of them at the edge of your stubby little arms. Then we have the face as the finishing touch. There is a lot of different types for a lot of different cute chibis. The type of face I usually do is not very different from a face that's usually drawn for manga, and that's just a little bit of definition for the cheeks, and you can add a little bit of chin shape, but I suggest not overdoing it because then you will be getting a more adult-like character. Of course, if you're turning an adult character into a chibi, then it's okay. But if you're drawing a chibi character that's a kid or a child or a young person, then try to keep this shape as flat as possible. And of course, to get the eyes, it's always good to separate the eyes from the edge of the face, not just stick it right next to the edge of the face, because then the character will look like their eyes are stuck to the side of their face. And when you're planning out where your eyes will be and what size they will be or shape, just keep in mind to approximately leave out one width of an entire eye between the two eyes. Just imagine that you're planning to draw 3 eyes and then erasing the eye in the middle, and that will help you make your character's eyes as big as you want, but in an approximate normal value where they won't be looking like their eyes are connected together. And my suggestion for drawing chibis is not to draw noses on them, because as less detail as possible in particular places is recommended. And for the mouth, I guess a simple little line is all you need. And of course, there is a ton of ways to draw out eyes for chibis and adult characters. If you want, you can check out my video on drawing several types of eyes. I personally like drawing eyes as 2 lines, a curvy line which is drawn in a very thick way on the upper eye. Also, one trick, if you guys don't want to have that problem where you drew out one eye perfectly with all the details and everything, and then your other eye does not look anything like the first one or is different size, my suggestion is to draw them at the same time. So plan out the size at the same time, draw out the upper lid at the same time, draw out a thicker line under the upper lash line, and then fill in the eye for the size and type and shape that you prefer. You can draw out males this way, you can draw out females, you can draw whatever kind of a character you want. You can add different colors and different shape for the pupil, for the iris. It's up to you now to play out and play around with the styles and the types of eyes. Some characters have more narrow eyes, some of them have more wide eyes, some of them don't have pupils at all, but this is a generic simple style I always use. Also, if you wish to give your eye a bit more detail, which is highly recommended, I suggest that you put a thin line right above your upper lash line. And of course, don't forget the eyebrows as thin half circles, or a bit thicker if you're drawing a boy. And we should definitely add this character some ears. Usually if you have a character that has their ears shown, try to draw the ears as half circles in the height of the eyes. Now it looks like a tiny monkey, but it's a normal thing. If it doesn't have any ears, then it's in alien phase. If it has ears, then it's in its monkey phase. And I'll leave this here for now, and we'll be having a surprise for you guys later on when I turn this 3 chibi characters into Overwatch characters. So I hope you guys like Overwatch. It's something I got hooked on recently and I really like the concept, so I will be transforming these characters into Overwatch characters later on in the video. Okay, so let's see what the next chibi format is. As I said before, you can draw a chibi that's a bit taller. You can draw a chibi in the height between this height and this height. You can play around, but the tallest chibi that I suggest is this chibi, and it consists out of 3 heights of the head, so 1 head, 2 head, 3 heads. And this chibi is very elongated. It has a body that's literally the same shape as this, but its body size is as tall as the head size. So we have 1 length and 1 height for this part of the body, and it's the same as this part of the body. And for this type of characters, you are allowed to add little shoulders and little necks, because they have enough space in them for this kind of detail adding. And then we have the rest of the character for their stubby legs, and of course these legs are way longer than the previous chibi ones. And you can start off with stubbly shapes. Nobody will tell you what to do, because chibis are very flexible with their dimensions and their proportions. Chibi dimensions and proportions are nothing like realistic ones. They are a representation of a character, but in a funny and doll-like way, more like a rag doll. So you're free to do whatever you want with your character's dimensions, as long as it looks at least a bit pretty, to you. That's what matters the most, I guess. Okay, so enough blabbering from me. And here you can actually add tiny little hands with tiny little fingers. And when you set up this initial shape, you can add whichever shape you want. Later on, this character can be a cute girl or a handsome boy or whatever you like. So I will be choosing Overwatch characters on the spot to transform into chibis from this particular body type. Of course, don't forget to add areas for the eyes and separate them from the edge of the face, and of course the ears. And we have a taller chibi character, and we will shape it accordingly to a character I will pick out later. For the third character, I already picked out, and that will be Zarya, because she is my latest fave character from Overwatch. And for her, we will use the same proportions as for the previous one, but since Zarya has a muscular build, we will transform her body and shape it a little bit different. We will add a thicker neck, we will add more of a muscular and wider figure, and we will have some more dynamic pose, I guess, with a bit of thicker legs. We will put her into a counter pose. If you guys don't know what counter pose is, you can check out my tutorial playlist and see all of my tutorials about body positioning, and body proportions. Of course, her arms will also be very thicker than the previous ones, and one of her arms will definitely be showing as flexing. For the initial chibi posing and initial chibi shaping, you should avoid using any kind of sharp shapes like sharp angles. Everything should be as flowy and as curvy as possible. And then if a character has details that are maybe more angular or maybe more sharp, then add them approximately. But even then, some of the clothing details and stuff like that is advised to be a little bit more curvy, because chibis are always representing something that's soft and cuddly and squishy, and you should just go with the flow on that. So the 3 Overwatch bases are now ready, and we can continue on to shaping the rest. Okay, so now that I have decided on the characters I will be doing, I decided the main 3 characters will be D.Va, Lucio, and Zarya. And for them to have their personalities shown a bit more, I will be changing D.Va's face expression into a very smiley one, because she is the queen of kawaii in the game, and she has this huge pink robot, so she's a little bit of a more of a representation of how some cute character can also be badass. Of course, I am giving her a peace sign as well, and making it look more like a bunny, because she has a bunny details and bunny keychain that she has on her gun. So if you want to learn how to do different kinds of poses for your chibis, I also did a video on that as well, so go check it out. And for D.Va, there is a few details that are very important to implement. So she doesn't have any ears showing. She actually has her pieces that look like a base for the ears, but they have some sort of a pink antennas, I guess, on them. And these earpieces are very high tech. They have some sort of a details that go all the way to her cheeks. And sorry, my pronunciation is very bad today. And she also has this cute little pink markings on her cheeks. I usually love making markings and giving markings to my own characters. She also has tiny bangs and a bit of hair separation right here, and her bangs are very straight cut, so I will be adding just a little bit of texture lines here and a bit of hair volume. As you can see, the base of her head is not connected to her edge of her hair, because her hair is very voluminous. And of course, I will be adding the edge of her headset frame, and of course she has very nice voluminous hair. And the rest of her outfit is comprised out of these little gloves, white gloves. I will be coloring and doing in these characters in my next video, and just filling in the base in here slowly so you guys can keep up. She also has cute markings all over her bodysuit, and she is in a bodysuit because she is operating a huge mecha, so it's like more of an Evangelion tribute by the authors of the game, I would think. Of course, she has this adorable bunny as her symbol, and that's why I will make that particular detail way bigger. I will put it right all across her tiny chest and stomach, and just make it huge, and even give it a cute little angry bunny kind of a look. I will just change the logo a little bit and use the same kind of triangle for the mouth, and of course add as many details from her real plug suit as I can. There is also a bit of markings here on her legs and they will all be very colorful once I get to color them in. Some details are impossible to transfer to a chibi character because chibi characters don't have knees or something like that, but all the things that you can transfer to your character is good, but don't overdo it because some parts really don't fit together. For example, for this type of chibi, no matter how voluptuous or curvy the original character is, it would be distasteful for me to give her like hips and breasts and stuff like that, because this format of a body does not support that amount of body details, especially that symbolize a very beautiful adult woman. So it's a couple of details that maybe you should think if you should add or not. For these types of chibis, it's acceptable to add that many details that show an adult body, but for this size, not so much. It's very depending on the character. If the character's main trait is her shape and curves, then yes, you can implement them because they are a vital part of their personality. Okay, so the second character we have is Lucio, or Lucio, however they pronounce it. He also has a very elaborate headpiece. I will only try to mark now on his head. And this is a very tricky part. I could only imagine the amount of work a cosplayer would have to replicate this, because it's very intricate and has amounts of details you would not believe. I'm looking at a reference photo currently because it would be impossible to just look at this character and just not look at this character because it has so many details. I wouldn't know where to draw what. Okay, so this character has more of an almond shape eyes, so that's why I am adding them just like that, because he's more mature, he is more edgy, he is more like angularly shaped, I guess, and he is more handsome, so more handsome eyes, I guess. When a character has a personality that's more like soft and caring and stuff like that, then you should definitely try to soften up their face features as well, but this is not the case because he's just this totally adventurous shonen-like character, and I'm so grateful that this company made a game that's very Western-like but very inspired and obviously inspired by anime culture. And of course he has a set of goggles that are very vibrant green, which will be very fun to draw out. I need to see more reference photos. I think he has the same kind of a headpiece on both sides of his head. I will check it out for the next video, I guess. And he has a type of hair that has no bangs, and that's why the edge of his forehead is very visible. Of course, the edge is not a straight line because he has this cyberlock dreadlocks, yeah, so cyber dreadlocks, and they are huge and will be adding a lot more space above the character's head for just the base of the dreadlocks. And all of the dreadlocks are like huge lumps, like individual lumps coming together into one big ponytail. And as you can see, I have left a lot of space above the character because usually stuff like this happens all the time, where characters have huge anime hair and the hair itself will be covering a lot of space, and you don't want to run out of space on your paper because it's very annoying to draw everything out from scratch again. And then all of these dreadlocks have like an individual kind of a plug looking thing on them because everything is spacey and cyber looking. And of course, since this is a guy, we will change the initial shape of the body and turn it into more of a masculine shape. For example, we will have his neck a bit wider and his shoulders a bit wider as well to give him more of a manly look. For this handsome fellow, we will also be changing his pose a little bit by making his leg stand out a bit here. And his arm getting raised a little bit here, holding his gun. This is the original reference pose, and I wanted to turn it into a kind of a chibi pose with a chibi gun, of course with a little bit less details than on the original design, because the original design is very, very, very intricate and it would take a lot of time to replicate, and it will be a very long video. So the gun is connected to his, I guess, energy pack right here on the back of his suit, like a backpack, and it looks like he has this sort of I don't know, amplifier, like he will shoot at you with music at any moment kind of a look. And for the rest of his design, he also has gloves, and his gloves have so you can add a little bit of a half circle here to show that she has a very, very, very muscular arm, and to add her other decorations on the other arm. She has this, I guess, sports injury or just a sports garment on her other arm, and of course she has again this super detailed fingerless glove, and we will be representing her fighting spirit by a closed fist kind of a decoration, well, not decoration, but hand pose, and these little accessories on her glove. And she really, really does have an intricate detail on this part. And the toughest part I left for the last, because her Space Marine design has left her with a very, very huge feet design. This is the part where we will be designing her clothes over her legs, and the first and the most chunkiest part is the knee guards and the entire armor that's been covering her entire feet, which will be very huge. It's literally a huge shape that's very wide and way wider than her regular feet. It even makes her feet look extra huge because she has this like grasping clamps kind of a design on her shoes. I don't even personally, I am very like curious to know how she even moves in this, because she wouldn't be able to even walk in this properly, but I guess the designing team of the game has made that problem go away by just like making her anatomy very weird or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, her feet are very big and chunky, and her shoes have very strange shape. And the particular last part is also very chunky. It's the guard for her thighs, I guess, right here, and it has these little like mecha decorations here that looks like her, well, literally looks like spots to like plug her suit in for like recharging or something. Like half her suit is kind of mecha suit, then she is literally like a mecha character, but a human mecha character. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. My next video will be dedicated to doing line arts on these guys and explaining you how to do proper line art, because a lot of you have asked me to do a lesson on doing proper line arting and on to coloring these characters and turning them into finalized products. I can even like do them in a thicker paper and turn them into bookmarkers for like conventions and just for use, maybe even do a giveaway, I don't know. So leave a suggestion down below. And if you want to learn how to draw manga and all about chibis, you can order my book Manga Crash Course, available in English, French, Serbian and Chinese on Amazon.com, as well as many global bookstores and online bookstores. Thank you guys so much and see you guys next time.